Good morning and welcome to Unity Church of the Mountains, where the light always shines. And this special greeting is for our online community members. If you are watching our live stream, or if you're catching us a week from now or a year from now on YouTube, you are a blessed and valuable part of this community. And we are so glad that you are here. We're going to have a wonderful service today. Hey, we're having a wonderful life. God bless. We're going to start the service in just a couple of minutes. Enthusiasm is good.
Is that clock right?
27 after. We got a few minutes.
Who am I kidding? All right. We got 2 minutes. Talk among yourselves. We'll give you the 10-second warning.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk among yourselves. Smoke them if you got them. Haven't heard that in a while.
That is too funny.
Yeah.
You must be doing a cucaracha. You got the cucarachas in your hand.
There you go.
Not quite, but close. Cucarachas.
I know that much.
That's got
Bonus guitar content today. All right. 1 minute. Okay, we'll keep it going. That's a good one. Oh, okay. All right, here's one. That's how we church in the mountains. Hey! Hey, that could be a good tagline. All right. Actually, that ain't bad. All right, here we go. Good morning and welcome to Unity Church of the Mountains, where the light always shines. Let's stand and sing. Well, I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker that thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. If you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. Well, I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. If you ask me what am I am beauty, I am joy. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light and brighten someone's darkest night. So much more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. Pretty good percussion section, huh? Okay. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes the things that shape my life. I have the power to change my life. Say that with me, please. I have the power to change my life. As we enter into this sacred time of prayer, of sharing, of speaking, of laughing, of singing, what we know is that our intentions and our thoughts and our good spirit move forth into the world. They are the world because they don't just move through us, they move as us, they are us. Our clarity of intention and our good habits change our lives. And from there, we change the world. Let's join together in saying our opening affirmation together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. And isn't that a beautiful thing? All right, welcome guests, welcome friends at home, welcome anybody who's here for the first time or the 100th time. You know, God brought you here. Who said that to me a little while ago? Yeah. Okay, it must have been all of you.
Jim raised his hand.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
That was not appropriate.
Remember that if you're ever at an auction and they try to hold you. Oh, no, I was just...
Scratching my ear.
All right. Speaking of welcome our guests, they're not our guests because they're part of the community, but let's all stand up and turn around and wave and give a big old unity howdy to our friends who are watching from home. All right. And with that, I get to introduce Rev Angela Harmon. Yay! All right. And she's going to have some more to say about habits and intentions. Am I right about that? And wonderful. I cannot wait to hear you're not a guest speaker, you're part of the family. That's right. And I'm looking forward to hearing your insights, sharing in them. Okay, and I think that's enough of my yakking. Let's sing some more. Let's stand and sing. Now, we're going to sing this together a couple of times, and then it's going to become a call and response. I'll sing, and the choir will lead you in answering. Make sense? All right, here we go. I love myself so much that I can love you so much, that you can love me so much, that you can start loving me. Finger snaps are good. I love myself so much that I can love you so much, that you can love me so much, that you can start loving me. Now, me. I love myself so, and you. I love myself so much that I can love you so much, that I can love you so much, that you can love me so much, that you can love and together me so much, that you can start loving me. Do it again, y'all. Love myself so much, I love myself so much, that I can love you so much, that I can love you so much, that you can love me so much, that you can love you so much, that you can start loving me. Just the congregation. I love myself so much, I love myself so much, that I can love you so much, that I can love you so much, that you can love you so much, that you can love you so much, that you can start loving me. Let's take it home now. I love myself so much that I can love you so much, that you can love you so much, that you can start loving me. Pour over me, Holy Spirit, cleanse my heart and comfort me. Pour over me, Holy Spirit, help me know how to let go. Pour over me, Holy Spirit, cleanse my heart and comfort me. Pour over me, Holy Spirit, help me know how to let go. Pour over me, Holy Spirit, cleanse my heart and comfort me. Pour over me, Holy Spirit, help me know how to let go. Pour over me, Holy Spirit, cleanse my heart and comfort me. Pour over me, Holy Spirit, help me know how to let go.
Good morning. We're here today to pray over the prayer box, which is located right here. And if you haven't had an opportunity to do so and put a name in the prayer box, you can do so at this time, a name or a situation that you want prayer over. You can do it silently or out loud. And after the service, I will be available if you need additional prayer over at that door over there. So let's, at this time, drop into our heart space, close our outer eyes, and take a really good, deep, cleansing breath. And exhale. I acknowledge the challenges and difficult situations that are contained in our prayer box, but they hold no power over me. God's grace washes over it all, and I let go of all fear, doubt, and anxiety. I accept and welcome changing circumstances in whatever form they appear, knowing that God always has my back, and I am always moving toward my good. There is nothing to fear, only to be understood. I welcome peace into my life. I welcome clarity and understanding into my life. I welcome kindness and compassion into my life. And I welcome faith and resilience into my life. And above all, I welcome love. I gratefully accept and receive divine love and inspiration. I recycle this love back out into the world in an ever-widening circle. I send love out to my friends and family. I send love out to my community. I send love out to my state. And I send love out to my country. I send love out to the entirety of Mother Earth and all of its inhabitants, plant, animal, and mineral. I receive God's love and light. I send God's love and light. I am God's love and light. All is well. It truly is. Amen. And the daily word for today is protection. As I practice the presence of God, I feel secure. There is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life, God. Omnipotence, omniscience, omnipresence is not only all around me, God is within me. As I take this truth into my heart, I feel calm and secure. The circumstances of the world have no lasting power over me. God is greater and more enduring than anything I may be called to face. I have within me the power to feel God's protecting presence at any time. As I pray, I affirm the strength and power of God are mine to call upon. I can use these divine powers to move beyond that which may scare or intimidate me. In renewed faith and deep security, I move bravely forward. The one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. 1 John 4:4. And I have a few quotes because Nancy knows I love quotes as much as she does. Hopefully they'll enhance Angela's talk today on character and on habits, because your habits do form your character. I don't know if you know that. A good character is the best tombstone. Those who loved you and were helped by you will remember you when forget-me-nots have withered. Carve your name on hearts, not on marble. Charles Spurgeon. Mark Twain. A man's character may be learned from the adjectives which he habitually uses in conversation. That's scary. From Ronald Reagan. You can tell a lot about a fellow's character by his way of eating jelly beans. I don't really understand that, but somebody can explain it to me after service because I don't get it. From Rumi. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. From James Allen. The law of harvest is to reap more than you sow. Sow an act and you reap a habit. Sow a habit and you reap a character. Sow a character and you reap a destiny. And this one from Frank Lloyd Wright. Love is the virtue of the heart. Sincerity is the virtue of the mind. Courage the virtue of the spirit. And decision the virtue of the will. Thank you.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your love is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Beautiful. Let us stay in this mode of quietness and thoughtfulness and honoring the peacefulness that reigns in this room. And we'll let the men before us, Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker, affirm us in. Today is May 21st. And as I say I, take every I for yourself. The spirit within me is within you. It communes with everyone and everything. And Mark 12, chapter 30th and 31st verse says, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself. When we let the love that is within us go out to the God who is in all people and the divine presence that is in all things, then we are loving God with all our hearts and with all our soul and with all our mind. And we are recognizing that the spirit within us is the same spirit that we meet in others. This is loving our neighbors as ourselves. The love that is within me goes out to the good, the God within all people. Let us recognize the divine presence everywhere. Let us love and adore this presence. We know that it is our response to God. I know that there is a law of good, a law of love forever giving itself to me. That means it's giving itself to you. This divine and perfect law is circulating through me and you now. Its rhythm is in our heartbeat. Its perfection is in every organ, action, and function of our physical body. Love and perfect life circulates through each of us and everything. This love, this life, we accept as the truth about ourselves, now and forever. The same love is the same presence, the same law of God we recognize in all others. It is a divine presence, a holy presence, a perfect presence. It is the law that heals and makes whole, that prospers and makes happy. This is the law of life. This is the good that I meet everywhere, that you meet everywhere. We know that this is the only power there is, the only presence there is. Love is all there is, the Spirit Almighty. There is no condemnation, no judgment, no fear in us. We belong to this world and we live in it fully. We love people and we love ourselves. We have a deep sense of confidence and trust. And we feel that we are secure in life and we need not to be anxious about anything. And so it is, and now it is.
Well, I'm gonna raise a fuss and I'm gonna raise a holler about working all summer just to try to earn a dollar. Every time I call my baby, try to get a date, my boss says, "No, son, you gotta work a late." Choir, will you join me? Sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do, 'cause there ain't no cure for the summertime blues. Well, my mama and papa told me, son, you gotta make some money if you wanna use the car and go a riding next Sunday. But I didn't go to work, told the boss I was sick. Now you can't use the car 'cause you didn't work a lick. Sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do, 'cause there ain't no cure for the summertime blues. Take 2 weeks and gonna have a fine vacation. I'm gonna take my problem to the United Nations. Well, I called up my congressman and he said, quote,
I'd like to help you, son, but you're too young to vote.
sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do, 'cause there ain't no cure for the summertime blues.
Wonderful, wonderful. No cure for the summertime blues. Y'all believe that?
No.
Songs are so much fun, but sometimes songs take us down the road we don't want to go on, right? So I love that we started with that, because what can happen, our topic is the 7 habits of highly effective teens becoming highly effective people. And I know in the summertime, that would be the time that we would get away, go somewhere, go see our grandparents. Maybe as the hormones started kicking in, we were falling in love too. Had a boyfriend, and then by the time we go back to school, that wasn't our boyfriend no more. So we think about richer living. That's what I opened up in prayer. And that is not richness. You know, blues is kind of the opposite of richness. It's as if there's not enough. And songs are fun, but we want to get in the habit of knowing the opposite of songs sometimes too. So as I look at the title of what I read yesterday, it said, "Neglect not the gift that is thee." And what that adjective means to me is happiness. You know, we talked about what adjective we want to have. I want you to pick yours. What is the habit you're going to have? And it's not going to be the blues. The habit of abundant happiness begins within us. It actually begins with some sort of peace, because in the summertime, I do like the fact that the pollen is over. I do like spring, but the pollen, you know, that comes with the spring, that's bluesy, right? And then the summer comes and it's all vibrant and green and lush and hot. And when it's that hot, we actually have to get into an inventive mode too. So when we were children, when it was hot, what did we do? Get in the fire hydrant if we were in the city, get in the lake if we were in the country, and find a shade tree. If we were in the city or the country, we'd find a tree. But what I want us to do to know that why the habits mean so much to me, because when I was growing up, there were a lot of words that were used, and God was one of them. And I saw how they used the word God. It almost gave you the blues, because all the things that I liked, I was headed to the other place. So that wasn't happy. So as I looked at Ernest Holmes, who was introduced to me almost the same time as the 7 Habits, 1999 was when I became a facilitator of the 7 Habits, and 1999 was when I started going to the Atlanta Church of Religious Science with Kennedy Schultz and the Science of Mind. And the 7 Habits and the 7 Steps of Spiritual Mind Treatment, 7 days a week, I had hit the jackpot. 7 times 7 times 7. And you know, when you go to Las Vegas, that's where I got ordained. So what stays in, doesn't stay in Vegas. Whatever that line they got, you know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That's not true. It comes with you. So I actually didn't realize, becoming ordained in 2015, that I had actually pulled the slot for the jackpot. Because we always think it's in this big abundance. When we're kids, we're looking at life through the eyes of our family, through the eyes of our minister in church, our teachers. All of these people are showing us what life is. But what we forget, that this coming together conversion told me, that it's in everything. It's not in one thing. Ernest Holmes says it's the thing itself. So instead of the word God, it became it. And I think I knew it little too, but they wanted me to say this word and they wanted me to say that word. And as I started traveling, the word changed. It would be Allah, it would be Buddha, it would be Yahweh, it would be all these words. But Ernest Holmes fixed it for me. It's like, it's it. It's the trees, it's the moon, it's the sun, it's Yahweh, it's Buddha, it's Jesus, it's God, it's you, it's me. And when we're growing up, we're not taught to be that individual. Although they say the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, they want us to follow somebody else. So as a teenager, we've got a lot going on in our minds, a lot going on in our world, and we're trying to figure it out. So as I look at Psalm 19:7, it says, the law of the Lord is perfect. And back to the language, do you notice that the word Lord and law is almost the same? So when we get mixed up in the language, it's up to us as older teenagers to find the language that works for us. Because if we're getting kind of bent out of shape about something, Guess whose fault it is? Not our parents, not our minister, not our husband, not our children. It's us. And so far as our thought is in accord with the perfect law, it will accomplish nothing. It will accomplish everything, and nothing can hinder it. A false fact is neither a person, place, or thing. It uncovers that, and it changes the consciousness to know that false conditions will no longer appear. So when we were told to be afraid, be very afraid, hell was the word that came up in the language of the church that I attended, which scared the crap out of me, because I didn't know what I needed to do not to go there. And what we learned to do, we've been singing about, talking about, praying about, and that's knowing that the law, God, Yahweh, is the how, the H-O-W. G-O-D equals H-O-W. Or, if you don't like that word, because it sends chills through your spine, L-A-W, the law, the one power, the source, is still how. People do not decide their futures. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. And that's from F.M. Alexander. So when I started IBM in 1994, I had no idea that by 1999 I would be into a subject matter that would last me the rest of my life. Because IBM is about tech and computers and new age and innovation. But guess what life is every day? Innovation, creativity, new age. We have never lived one moment before now the same. Every moment that we live from this second on is different. So if we can indoctrinate, if for lack of a better word, if we can instill, if we can happy our children, our teens into the power of now, that whatever is happening now, guess what? That's temporary, even if you're happy. If you're sad, guess what? That's temporary. If you don't understand, guess what? That's temporary. Because all of the power is in the now. How is that moment now? So as I look at the fact that we all struggle, I can't name one great person in the Bible that didn't. I'd like for you to pick one out, and you can tell me after service what great being that we know did not have some kind of struggle before they became great. Moses and Noah kind of stand out for me because we just passed the Easter season, and I had a turtle that I got for my birthday in October that I released already to the universe. But I was trying to give him away, right? Because he was one of these little turtles. And I said, some mom would want this adventure for their kid, and I could not give that turtle away. So I brought it home, and my grandkids came over. My birthday was the 11th of October, and I got the turtle the 9th. So they came over the 11th, and they said, Grandmommy, you got a turtle? And I said, yeah, you want him? No. I'm like, why? He says, he's too much work, and they were right. So he didn't have a name or anything. I'm like, if he's this much work, let's see what happens. I could not give this turtle away. I said, so if you last 40 days, I'm going to get you a bigger tank. Well, Noah lasted 40 days. That's how he got his name, Noah. So since Noah lasted 40 days, I got him a bigger tank. And then he was messy. He was very messy. So as he was growing, I was trying to figure out, what am I going to do with this turtle? I'm in a condo. And they say turtles live a long time. And I looked it up. Turtles can live 100 years. So I'm like, okay, this is not happening. So what are we going to do? I still couldn't give this turtle away. So for me to live life fully, each day is important. And I had a friend that made a transition, and I'm going to read a song at the end of our service that stays with me because of him. So as I'm honoring him, and he passed away April 13th, and one of the places that he lived in his life was Myrtle Beach, and I had not been to Myrtle Beach, and I love the water. So as I'm looking at Noah getting bigger, I said, guess what? As I celebrate my friend's life and times, I'm taking Noah to the beach. And I think I'm going to let Noah loose at the beach. Well, I had never been to Myrtle Beach before, right? So most of the beaches I go to have this coastline and rockiness, so I'm thinking Noah's going to be able to get out of the water. And I get to the coastline of Myrtle Beach, and it's all sand and water. And I'm looking at Noah, he's not that big. And I'm like, if I put Noah in there, he's going to drown and die. So I ended up having to find Noah a little pond to put him in. But I say all that to say that we can get an idea. And something can seem so big or so small or so easy. But as you're doing it, it unfolds. Noah's name came because it unfolded. He lasted more than 40 days. And as Noah was getting bigger, the release was my friend's life has now changed. He had transitioned into another place in time. His physical being isn't here, but he was with me more than ever. So as I looked at the ocean, and I'm like, I wouldn't just put Noah out there in the ocean. I would put him in a place that would help him learn habits to still live in the wild. Well, that's what the law does with us. That's what God does. It's not going to fling us into the ocean if we're only this big. It's going to give the path, the wherewithal. I was the instrument in Noah's life. There is always an instrument in someone's life. Our godparents are our instruments. Our parents can be our instruments. Our ministers can be our instruments. But that's all they are. They're instruments. They're not going to be there forever. And if we're learning our own habits, then we have to be the change. The experience with the turtle was more of an affirmation than anything, because what that 40 days did remind me to pray too, to stay in prayer. So if something gets harder, take that 40 days if you need it. And we are the change in our lives. There's a song called Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson. And if we see things in adults that we didn't like or we didn't understand, and we're still doing them in our 60s and 70s and 80s, we're not the change. The only way we can be effective change agents is to have healthy habits. The habits are be proactive. That's the very first habit. Begin with the end in mind and put first things first. Those three habits have only to do with the individual. So imagine a teenager that grows up being proactive. Now, these teens, I have a granddaughter that graduated high school Friday. What a feat. Those children went through a pandemic learning. I had a grandson, her brother actually graduated 2 years earlier, 2021. They were in the midst of the pandemic. Don't you think they had to be the change they wished to see? So when we look at the news, please stop or minimize it. When we hear naysayers or we hear negative comments, please turn the channel. Because we have evidence in our own circle of life that shows us where there is a will, there is a way. And that becomes the habit. That's what habit one is. Pausing. There is a stimulus that is going to, let's use Atlanta since I live there, take you to another place in your mind with traffic. Because it's getting worse. Something's happening. I don't know what's going on. And the response can be, or we can leave a space. We can teach our teens. And if our older self forgot, we can teach this older teen. So we can be the people we want to be. And habit two is putting in that space what we prefer. And my space giver is usually peace or happiness. When we say that, then we put first things first. So my next response can't be to this. It's got to be to what I put in the middle and let that unfold. We're doing that every day as a kid. We go and watch kids play on a playground. They go play, they fall down, they get back up. They see a little person that's alone, they go talk to them. Sometimes we see a bully on the playground. We see what happens with the bully, too. Sometimes they get bullied back, or sometimes we walk away. That's back to all the character events we heard just now. If we have strong character, then it takes more courage not to hit back than it does to hit back. Because I believe in the law, LAW, what goes around comes around. So if we're putting negative out there, we're going to get it back. So looking at the habits, we said habit 1, 2, and 3 are personal to us. We go from a dependent stage where we think we depend on how traffic is going to be to have a good day. We don't. Matter of fact, the universe can change that you don't even have to be in traffic. A lot of us ended up working from home permanently after the pandemic. I actually worked from home before that. So when we're looking at those, we go from dependent to independent when we're proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first. If we can be independent, that means we can stand on our own 2 feet knowing that a power has us. Doesn't mean we have everything in place. These graduates that are going out into the world just finished on Friday, they don't know what they're about to do. Some are going to college, some are going to other careers, but I bet they're not worried about it. We're going to teach them to worry about it. Let's not do that. Let's not make that a habit. That's what becoming a highly effective adult does. We remember our teenage years that we didn't know what was going on either when we walked out into the world and said, here we are, world, let's do this. So that means habit 4, we think win-win. Doesn't mean a scoreboard at the football game or the tennis match. It means if I win, you win. If we can walk in the world that way, happiness, peace, kindness, it all exists. Most of us think win-lose. I have to win and you're gonna lose. You're gonna live. You're gonna live. Imagine the world walking around, we're gonna lose. What we say is so, correct? So we're going to walk around, we're going to win, we're going to win. This is a win-win world. So I add to that, begin with a win-win in mind. If we can think win-win, then that means we can seek first, habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. We are always so often, get me, get me, get me. We have to get each other. We don't have to agree with each other. We just need to agree with God and law. And if we're in agreement with God and law, we're all going to show up in the right place at the right time. Habit 6 is synergize. Synergizing is a football team, the cheerleading squad, the Unity Church of the Mountains. That's synergy. It takes all of us to make this happen. I have not seen one movie where the credits almost last as long as the movie. I'm kidding. But I mean, the credits are, have you ever noticed the credits in a movie? And people think Tom Hanks did the movie. If Tom Hanks didn't have all those people helping him, would be no movie. I say his name, but Jim Brown actually made his transition. I saw that getting ready this morning. He was awesome. Now, as a teenager, he saw himself playing football. Did he do it? He did it. And then he started acting. There was a movie he was in called I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. I don't know if anybody ever saw that movie. It is one of the funniest movies on the planet. So he moved from one thing to another. Do you know that his youthfulness lasted probably until the moment his breath stopped? That's us. Let us be forever youth, forever young, the teenagers. And habit 7 is to help us do that. That's sharpen the saw. I actually wear a little saw on my bracelet to remember to take care of myself. You take care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, and then social emotionally. That's the people you let come in your circle. A lot of illness comes because we let others in our circle who are not well. They're not thinking win-win. They're thinking win-lose. But there's a hidden agenda sometimes. They smile and they have your back. It sounds like, feels like, tastes like. And then they spit it out because it don't taste right, smell like, see right. So we are to stay in tune with our mind, body, and spirit. This is our Trinity. This is our kingdom. And if we can teach our kids to stay in tune with that, we have effective adults. So anywhere in our lives, you older teenagers in here, let's remember to consider these things. This is in the proactive chapter. 5 Shorts chapter by Portia Nelson. There's a hole in the sidewalk. I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to get out. Chapter 2. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe it. I'm in the same place. But that isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it is there. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It's my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5. I walk down another street. Now, that's what our teenagers do. As the people, we shouldn't be falling in that same hole again and again and again. That's back to the habit. So, do we grow up? Do we see people that might be in 60-year-old bodies that might be 15, that might be 12, that might be a baby? It is evident in our behavior who we are. It's in our actions. That's what habit 3 is. First things first. We don't have to talk a lot. If you notice, the first habit is like, shut up. You know, you want to, in the hallway, they stepped on your sneaker. Don't, shut up. Don't say nothing. But the first thing we want to do is get them back. Let's go after that. They did that on purpose. We really don't know. They could be having a bad day themselves. They didn't even see you. But here we are, reactionary. McFarland USA is a 2015 movie, an American sports drama. I like sports movie because sports seem to have a tendency to show you what unity can look like because of coming together. The quarterback has to come together and all the other players and offense and defense. So in this case, the film is co-produced by Walt Disney. I like the fantasy and magic of it. Based on a true story from 1987. Cross-country team. Kevin Costner was the coach, Jim White, of a school predominantly Mexican Americans. And in that movie, these kids were working the fields before they went to school in the morning. Right outside of that was a prison. So they were already setting these kids up from the fields to prison, which they didn't see education beyond high school. But this coach who had a temper himself, he needed some proactiveness, if you've seen the movie. So he got sent to the armpit of the world. This is how he saw it, being down there. I think he still lived there if he's still alive. Because what happened in that first year of him arriving, of having a sordid career himself, he changed the lives of those boys because they changed his lives. That was teenagers still growing up, in my opinion, because his temper was getting in the way. It cost him moving and moving and moving until he was almost in Mexico himself. But they won the championship, just to spoil the movie, if you haven't seen it. And they won it their first year, and every single one of the 7 runners went to college. No one in their family had ever been to college before, and they all ended up being landowners, teachers, writers, in the Air Force. I mean, their lives just gangbuster. And the ones that live locally still run with the cross-country team. Now, that shows me the epitome that we are effective teens growing into effective adults, effective people. It's up to us to pass on proactiveness, affirmations, our actions speaking rather than our words. I think the book that you'll be seeing later, Birds of a Feather, is my testimony of staying in prayer. That's what this effectiveness is prayer. It is always saying to that power, that law, that thing that you know drives you, that makes you the beauty you are, you wouldn't be here without it, that we are forever to be that childlike and believe in it. Never get too old to believe in something better can happen. We get so, well, I'm going to just age gracefully. I'm going to age happily. How about that? How about not aging? How does that sound? Oh, I like that one. That came out. That's not even on the paper. How about that? Because if you see the goose down there, as I wrap up, as a facilitator of the habits, it's funny, my book is called Birds of a Feather. This is what all the 7 habits facilitators got for graduating. A goose and a golden egg. This is not the golden egg. My 7-year-old granddaughter was an infant at my house, and that egg has gone missing. I cannot find it. So we have some eggs down there, and this is like a shaker. But the image of this is that we're the goose. And if you know that story, they tried to kill the goose and get all the eggs at once instead of taking care of the goose that lays the eggs. You're the goose. Every teenager, every child, every person on the planet is unique. There's no goose like you. There won't be another one when they chop you up and eat you. Let's let them not chop us up and eat us. We're going to take care of ourselves. God, do you see the birds flying? They take care of themselves. You don't see them running into each other. Nature is like that. God takes care of us. So if we want to keep producing, our habits are how we produce. Daily, I have an opportunity to put out a message called Putting First Things First Daily. I do it on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And now I've added a laugh in a lesson. And today's laugh is, why do hummingbirds hum? Because they can't remember the words. And today's lesson is, what is best for you? What keeps you giving the best things, the time and energy you want to give? Or are there too many good things getting in the way of the best? And if you don't understand what that means, doing good is good, but doing your best is better. Even in your lowest moment, if you do your best, guess what? You're going to get up. And you're going to get up knowing that you had the power in you that came from somewhere else that got you up. And we want to make that a habit. My friend Julian, that Noah is now swimming with in the ocean. Because Noah's Noah's not ashes, but my friend was ashes, and I'm not sure whether they're going to spread them there. But this is one of the songs that I'll close with that they played at his memorial service that I give to every teenage heart that's really a teenager, or we've been a teenager for decades. I hope you dance. I hope you never lose your sense of wonder. You get your fill to eat, but always keep that hunger. May you never take one single breath for granted. God forbid love ever leaves you empty-handed. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. And so it is.
One of the things I really love about Angela Harmon is that your messages are always spiritually uplifting and practically useful. For real. And I love that movie, the Kevin Costner. That and Who's Yours. Yeah. Sensational. All right. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. This is the time in our service when we gratefully receive our tithes and offerings. So if our ushers will please come forward. Okay. And let us join together in saying our offering affirmation together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. Think about those words for a second. Divine love is flowing through me, within me, without me, as me, around me. And it blesses and multiplies all that I have. We say these every week. Blesses and multiplies all that I give. What I put forth comes back, multiplied abundantly. God is good. Come forward. In love and gratitude, we gratefully receive these blessings, these gifts, these offerings, and we move them along because that's the only way they can be. They are it, as Rev Angela said, and in that form, in the form of money and all good things, the flow continues, and it flows upward, does its good and perfect work in the world. And for that, we are grateful. Amen. Okay. All righty. Okay, big news today. Big news is that we finally have some clarity about what to do with our sign. All right? Now, if you haven't been following the saga, it's been a while for us to try to figure out what our next move is. You know, the sign needs to be replaced. And the things that were hanging us up were there was some uncertainty about whether DOT was going to widen the road, and there was also some uncertainty about our name and whether we would be in the Unity Worldwide Ministries branding program and exactly what that entailed. Attailed? Is that a word?
Entailed.
Attailed is good. It is now. It's taken a while to get some clarity about this. I'm happy to say I think we do have some clarity about it, and the short version is we can do whatever we want with our sign. We don't have to worry about the name. We don't have to worry about, we're going to be in the branding program, but we can, yeah. Okay, so a couple of quick details, and there's going to be a little more about this next week. We played with the idea of getting an electric sign, and holy moly, it costs a lot of money. Okay, so for that. What we're going to do is our existing sign, we're going to replace the two sides with a brand new design that is made out of this kind of space-age polymer. It'll last a long time. We can take it with us if and when we have to move. Now, our board president, Susie Henry, is taking the point on this. She is talking with Michelle Fritz, who is the preferred graphic artist and vendor for Unity Worldwide Ministries. Susie and Michelle have collaborated on all of these for 6 months or so. Okay, and I think you'll agree they're really good. So that's where we are with it right now. All right, and maybe in a week, maybe in a couple of weeks, we'll have a prototype for you to look at. We'll be able to keep the same foundation. We'll be able to keep the bricks. All right. So I think it's going to be a huge improvement. It won't cost nearly as much as the electric sign, which was like heart attack when we found out what that was attailed. All right, so that's where we are with that, and we'll keep you posted, okay? All right, go.
Wonderful message. Beautiful words, as always. And if any of y'all are interested in more of her wonderful things to say, she is having a book signing in the back. So make sure to check that out, and you'll be blessed, of course, with anything she has to say. And then Mitch Cohen and Jeannie Ward are other speakers that we're looking forward to in the coming time. So make sure we're going to welcome them with open arms. And then Sunday, June 4th, which is not next Sunday, but the Sunday after, that is going to be our Blessing of the Animals at Meeks Park. So make sure to bring your little furry friends, your fluffy ones. And if you can't do that, you can just bring a picture or some kind of memorabilia about them, a collar. And Robin Volker will be sure to bless them, each and every one of them. Yes, plenty of cats. Bring your cats. And so that's going to be our first Sunday of the month as well. So we're going to be celebrating our Power of the Month. So instead of... Imagination. Oh, yeah, it's going to be Imagination. And our color is going to be light blue. So make sure to wear light blue there. And it's going to be in the great outdoors. Hopefully the weather, God permitting, is going to be wonderful. So I'm looking forward to that one. Yep, so make sure to do that. Oh, and then we're not going to be videoing it or live streaming it. So make sure, just know that. I don't know why that was important.
Yeah, what
to
else
say.
can you do? Yeah.
So take pictures. Take plenty of pictures.
That's right. And we will get some video and photos and have them up on the website and our various social media channels, right? Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, this guy is knocking it out of the park with social media.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. All kinds of good things are happening there. Okay, we talked last week about the handicapped parking spaces, and I think we all understand that. One extra bit of that is that as we come into the summer and our numbers grow, you may have noticed that there's one parking space that has an arrow over there. It's not actually a parking space, it's a pull-through, and if you want, you can drive through there and come around and park on the grass as need be. Okay, so that's all good. Okay, now, this is some good news. Wednesday evening, this coming Wednesday evening at 6 p.m., we're going to have our meditation and potluck evening. Now, this was something that was a mainstay of the church for a long time before we had to, shut down for a little while. And we're going to start again, all right? So it's an evening of meditation and a potluck, and I've been directed to say that this potluck is not about crackers and potato chips. You're going to bring an actual covered dish that everybody can share in. All right, it's a dinner. Fair enough? All right. Go ahead, Sky.
Sorry, I forgot my segue from the last announcement. Why to take pictures and videos is because we're wanting to up our marketing on our Facebook and our YouTube and other short form content creation platforms. So when you are at the events, the potluck or the Blessing of the Animals, take plenty of pictures and videos and then send them to unitychurchsocial@gmail.com. I'll get with me after the service. If you would like that email, I'll give it to you and make it easy for you to send anything you guys have over, and I can post it on our social media pages. All right, moving on. 6 p.m. June 29th is our Sing for Joy. Hats off to Broadway, show tunes, and more.
That's right.
That's going to be a throwback. That one's going to be really fun. We invite you to... that's the same thing I just said. Yeah, so look forward to that. If you have any songs that are Broadway themed, back in, I don't know, I sang a lot of Broadway in high school.
Okay,
That
be
was
thinking
fun.
of one you're going to sing that night. And it can also be movie music, like. The way Sing for Joy works is we pick, I don't know, 15 or 20 songs, and we put the lyrics up on the screen, and everybody sings. However, if you want to lead the singing on a particular song, for example, Sky's mom, Tiffany, is going to sing Summertime, so she's going to sing it, she's going to belt it out, but we can all sing along with the words on the screen. So it's kind of a hybrid. And if you'd like to drive up that night, okay. Sounds good. Okay, I think that's just about it. July 2nd, Unity 101, that's our membership class. That'll be right after the service. And the following week, of course, our new member ceremony. If you're thinking about joining the church, come talk to me about that, and we'll make it happen. It's a really beautiful and worthwhile thing. All right.
And if you haven't already, please sign up for our Mountain Spirit newsletter at unitychurchinthemountains.org. And if you ever miss a service, don't worry, YouTube. We're recording all of this.
That's right, YouTube. So, all righty. All right, what a beautiful morning, everybody. Oh, what a beautiful... See, actually, that would be a great one to do for, see? It would. Okay, we're getting this together already. All right, and so with that, let us join together in saying our healing affirmation together. May my mind know that it cannot be limited. May my heart know that it cannot be separate. May I know only wholeness of being and claim nothing less than the fullness of life. Let's stand and radiate that out into the universe. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment, live each moment, peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Jerry will be here to pray with you. Rev Angela will be at her table. And the rest of you, talk among yourselves. God bless.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Good job.
Yeah.